Hey guys, welcome back to B&B
Hey.
Bible Lessons. It's Michelle.
Simone.
Alright, so I'm going to let Simone start out. This one's just going to be simple because we haven't posted last week. We had some things happen. I went out of town last week because the 15th is the anniversary of my father's passing. So we went to the military base that I grew up on that he was into before he retired. So it's just kind of like a weekend that I just spent with him. And by the time I got back, I didn't feel like doing anything. So... but anyway, this one is going to be a top 10 Christian girl essentials. So I'll let Simone start out with our little topic, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, as we were coming up with this and talking about it, there was in some of the stuff that Michelle and I were working on together, there was parts of it that kind of really jumped out at me. So, and it kind of all tied in. So, in this, it says, if the words of Jesus do not have any effect, then the fault lies within the hearer. At times, life might be so shallow that his words do not take root. At other times, problems in life or opposition take me away or take anybody away from a close relationship with Jesus. At other times, still, the worries of this life, deceitfulness of wealth, desires for other things, come in and choke out the word, making it unfruitful. There is great power in vulnerability, because Jesus says, for whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed, and whatever is concealed is meant to be brought out into the open. We are not meant to keep things hidden or concealed in our lives. It is far healthier to bring them out in the open. And Jesus goes on to stress over and over again that be careful what you are hearing. And sometimes we have to guard our hearts, and we have to guard our ears, and we have to guard our eyes.
Yeah, we have to guard ourselves every single day, because there is temptation out there every single day. There's false prophets. There's all kinds of stuff. If you check around, a lot. There's a lot of non-biblical situations. It's a worldly situation. They want to believe what they want to believe, and then they're like, oh, okay, let's put this in a pact, and that's what we'll believe. When it's totally different from what the word says. So so this is our 10 most essentials. Of course, number 1 is your Bible. Me personally, I worship out of the King James. Simone does a different version, but I'm not going to say how you think King James is the number 1. I'm not going to do that to her, but that's just we both compare and contrast. Hey, this is what the King James says, and this is what you use on
NASB and ASV. I can't remember which one's on there,
but we compare what each one's saying, and
it really says the same thing.
It really does.
Some words are different.
Yeah, sometimes it is the same, and sometimes it's a little different. But I like to compare too. I have 2 different ones. I have. The most one I use is my King James, but I do have a NLT that I like to, if I just want to read, I'll use it. If I want to study, I'll use King James, if that makes sense. But, of course, number 1 is, of course, our Bibles. Number 2 is apps. Simone and I use YouVersion. That's how we do our devotions together. It has devotions. It has all kinds of things. I also use one that's called Idisciple. And that one particularly has like podcast and music, and it still has like devotional things on there too. But I just use it because it's a little different. It breaks up of being on the same YouVersion thing and seeing all the same things all the time. So I break it up. Go ahead, number 3.
Okay.
It's yours.
Yeah, another thing I had come across, and a friend of mine had showed it to me, was, and I found it on Facebook, and I think there's an app or something for it too, but it's Daughters of the King Daily Devotionals with Keisha Trippett. And everything that I come across, and I can't say that there wouldn't ever not be, but really for the most part, everything I really truly read and that really gets to me, sorry, I had an itch, is really true to the word. And, sure, could be meant for anybody, but it is kind of geared towards women in a sense. You know, it kind of does that. You know, just like this, you know, you will fear no evil, the Lord is with you. You know, we've got some Psalms in there. Oh, this one was actually really good, and this kind of goes along with that too. I am removing all distractions from your life. Yes, I am removing all hindering spirits from your life. There will be no more delays. I am causing you to be propelled forward into my purpose and plan. I am causing you to embrace your calling. You are empowered by me to prosper in everything you put your hands to.
Right.
You know, that's kind of where we're at.
Right. That's because the Lord wants you to prosper regardless. He doesn't want you to be down. He doesn't want you to be depressed. He doesn't want you, trust me, anxiety and depression are my number 2 right now. Number 2 problems right now. Number 1, number 2. So, you know, I'm a normal person. I have anxiety and depression. I deal with it all the time. There are days that I don't even want to get out of bed. But, you know, the Lord helps me. You know, these essentials are to help you guard yourself and to prosper the way that Jesus wants you to prosper. So, number 4 is your war binder, or I like to call them the battle plan binders. Just so happens I brought mine today. So, as you see, mine is
She usually has it, which I love.
I carry it every single day. This thing comes with me every day. Like it's, I'll do, I think I have one that I think I posted already. If I didn't, I'll do a new one. But I have like all kinds of stuff in here. Like this is my go-to place to put everything. It's got scripture, Bible verses, or not Bible verses, but it's got devotionals, prayers, anything. It's just all in one for me. And this thing comes with me every single day. But that and my Bible, they both go with me every day.
Okay. Setting a time to have a conversation with God every day, you know, and this doesn't have to be, oh, hey, this is my specific prayer time, this is my reading time. No, this is the time that I'm just going to sit down and have a conversation with Dad. You know, really plain and simple, and then quiet ourselves to listen for the response.
Yep.
Very
a lot
important.
of times my conversations with God will be either before work or after work, or it'll be during my lunch break.
Taking walks. When I walk at work, I that's when I talk to God half the time. Well, more than half the time. That's my quiet time that I talk to God.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then number 6, of course, is prayer. You have to stay prayed up, because if you don't, that leaves ample fire for I know I've said this and I feel like I'm repeating myself every time we have a conversation, but that prayer is the number 1 thing that keeps the devil off your back.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And then number 7 is also sermons and podcasts. Simone doesn't really she's not into the habit of doing it. She listens to them. She thinks they're great.
Yeah.
We both listen to Stephen Furtick a lot.
Mm-hmm.
When I can't attend church, that's where I'll go, because my church isn't like broadcasted. So sometimes they do put stuff on YouTube, and if it is, then I'll watch it. But they're not all the time, because we don't have this big elaborate studio that you can record from. So, but Stephen Furtick is one I especially if I want something that's encouraging. He does a lot of encouraging sermons. So if I want to get out of my depression's rut that I'm in quite a few times, that will help me get out of it. And it'll help me give that little bit of encouragement that I need to listen to. So, so that's always a plus. And like Idisciple has both of those. So Stephen Furtick's on it too. So Idisciple is a really good one for sermons and podcasts. And of course, you know, you can do whatever it is for Google, or for iPhone. It's the podcast. It's just regular podcasts for iPhone users. So
there's another good one, and it's I think part of John G. Lake Ministries, Curry Blake. He does a great series of teachings on, and I think I found it on YouTube, on healing training, you know, and praying, and, you know, prayer and stuff like that. He's got a lot of good stuff too. But yeah, him and Stephen Furtick are probably the few that I go to, because I don't get as much
from anybody else.
Listening to it. And that kind of probably goes into our next one is worship music, because it's like that's more often than not that's what I'm listening to versus the podcast, especially if I'm driving. I mean, driving is a great time to listen to podcasts, but the worship music, you know, I've gotten like stopped at a stoplight or whatever. I mean, I've gotten videos of my kids like singing in the back seat while, you know, we've had Christian music playing in the car, and you know that's like what they're in, and I know that, you know, I have that on, and not only does it uplift me, it uplifts them.
Yeah, because we just went to the Winter Gym concert here recently, and she took hers for the first time, and Miss Bella, she climbed in my lap the first time that Riley Clemens, the Fighting For Me song, and Buddy, me and her was just singing it, and she was not skipping a beat, her little tired eyes. But she was not missing a beat with that song with me. And it was just, it was a blessing to me. Her than being that little and sitting there and knowing that song, and just touches my heart deeply. And that's like Trinity. Trinity rather listen to K-Love or any of the Christian radio stations than anything else in these pop cultures. And people can condemn me for this, okay? But she has a TikTok account that is heavily monitored. It's all set to my phone. She's the only way she can get on it. So I see any inappropriate things. So if there is any, but most of hers are the Christian TikToks. They're not pop. They're all. I mean, there's some she'll do with different music with her color guard, but the majority of her stuff is Christian stuff. So, and you know, I've kind of planted that. You know, like that's what I listen to. I've listened to Christian music for a long time, even when I wasn't in such a great relationship with God. I still listen to the music. I still sing.
Still keeps that little thread of
keeps
connection.
Keeps that little bit exactly. Keeps that little bit of connection. Number 9, and of course these are not really like art. We have this heavily numbered. This is the most important to the least important. These are just top 10. So number 9 is an accountability partner. We keep each other motivated. When I'm struggling, she reaches out to me. When she's struggling, I reach out to her. So we definitely keep each other accountable. Kind
of like, without going into specifics, our little chat last night.
Yes.
You know, stuff comes into our minds, go, God, I wish I could do that, you know, you know, are you sure about that? You know, and she'll do the same to me, you know, that might not take you to the place that you want to be in your heart, you know, and I don't want to see anything happen, you know, so we have these conversations all the time between us, you know, and she'll be like, Simone, are you sure about that? And I'll be like, no, but let me tell you about it some more. And she'll be like, Simone, I'm like, she gives me this look. You should see this look that, like, we'll be sitting there, like, and we haven't gotten to do this in a while, but across the table for, you know, sitting and having lunch at each other, we'll be talking. She'll be like looking down at something, and then she just like looks up at me with this look on her face.
It's the mom look. It's the mom look. That's what it is. It's the mom look.
Yeah. So
I'm like, what are you thinking? Like, because, you know, these just got fixed. So it was even worse because they used to sit at the bridge of my nose. So, yeah, I would look at her like, I'm like.
And then she gets this little smile on her face, and I'm like, what? So, yeah.
And then last is journals and prayer journals, which, like I said, all of mine are in here, but I do have a smaller one that we use that my pastor's wife just bought me along with my folder. She got me. That was so sweet. She said she felt like her daughter Mandy that we lost in 2002 was speaking to her to get this stuff for me. So I have this. Haven't started on it yet. I will eventually start on it. But there's always a prayer journal you can get. You know, they're not very expensive. This one was $7.99 at Cedar Springs. It looks like it's from there. So there's not, and you can get them online. You can make some, you know, you use just a regular piece of notebook paper just to write down your prayers or anything that speaks out to yourself.
Journaling.
I have, right, exactly. And I have a spot in my binder that's called worship, and then I have prayers too. My prayers are subdivided into days. Monday is marriage, so I'll pray for my husband and I. Tuesday is finances, so actually, no, I take that back. Tuesday is kids, so I'll pray over the kids, whether it's my kids, her kids, anyone, all around the world. Wednesday is finances, because, you know, I'm very blessed to have the job that we have. We work together, so the job that we have is we're very blessed to have it, and I don't want anything to hinder that. So I always want to make sure that, you know, I stay good and focused and to keep going. And then Thursday is family and extended family. Friday is friends. Saturday is sickness, so anybody who has a sickness going on, and then Sunday's for the church. So those are just my days that I have it subdivided. But I also have another one in worship, so anything that, like, sermon wise, or a lyric to a song that we sing, or a song that I hear, whatever, I want to write it down, I'll calligraphy it, or I'll just write it down and go back later and draw it or whatever. But just that little bit of keeping yourself focused and keeping your connection with the Lord is going to be the thing that keeps you strong in your faith and guarded heart and guarding your heart against the devil's schemes. Because let me tell you, the devil's on my back right now, because I've missed the last 2 Sundays. Last Sunday was because I come back from my trip. Today is because I'm having this coughing issue, so I was up all night last night coughing. And that's why I was coughing earlier too. But it's not that I'm contagious or anything. It's just this little bit of cough, congestion stuff I got going on. Probably from where I went up into where we were at. And there's a little bit of climate change there. So that's probably...
And all the weather we've had. We've had so much rain, and then we've had snow, and then we've had rain, and then we've had ice, and then we've had 55 degrees, and then we're going to have rain again, and it gets down to 20 degrees at night, and then it's 50 degrees during the day. Yeah, so it's a little bit all of that.
And then,
And the prayer journals, and just journaling in general. Sometimes instead of acting out on something, journaling through it, writing through it, gets it out without being destructive. And then sometimes you can look back on it on paper and go, oh, yeah, no, I don't need to do that. You know, but then the prayer and the war binder and stuff, I've many times gone through the scriptures for finances or for family or for whatever, and, you know, just written down various scriptures and various thoughts and different things to do and to pray. And then really, sometimes you just got to stand upon God's word and believe in it, because what seems like the truth of the world isn't, or, you know, right there on paper, you know, everybody says this, but that's not what God says. Right. God's truth is different than the truth of the world. So.
Yeah, because, you know, you've got worldly things, and you've got worldly pastors too, because you know, people that say they're ordained when they're really not, because it comes from a true calling from God to be ordained. You don't have to go to school and get this big diploma that says you're a pastor. It is, if the Lord calls you to be a pastor, the Lord calls you to be a pastor. You're ordained at that point. You know, it's not your degree.
If the Lord calls you to do this, then the Lord calls you to do this.
Like this here. We're not pastors by no means, but the Lord put this on us in an ideal, and like we've explained it to the first video. You know, we're here for a reason. We're here to help guard people's hearts and say, hey, you know, we're normal people. Now we're not some 20-something-year-old people that may get thousands of subscribers, and that's okay as long as one person hears this and it changes their perspective on everything. That's all that matters. Now, me personally, I will probably I feel led to talk about it a little more of the depression, anxiety issues. Not going into really in depth on it. It's not like personal things that have happened to me, but how to guard yourself to do that.
Yeah, and I have some experience with that too, and I'm in a better place now than I was a few years back. But An upcoming video, I think we'll probably, now that that's really come out right now, I think that's probably something we'll do together. And maybe we'll do something separate as well, but I think that'll probably be an upcoming topic because it's important.
It is, because like when we were at Winter Jam and Louis Giglio was the guest speaker, that was his majority of talking was, and of course he had, you know, all of us close our eyes and every head bowed, every eye closed. But, you know, when you got kids, you can't just keep yourself...
Yeah. Open your eyes.
Open your eyes, right.
Check on the kids.
So, and he had asked everybody, like, if anybody at the location at the time had been saved from suicidal thoughts. And I was really surprised to see how many hands we saw raised. And I'm so glad, but... I feel like it needs to be talked about, you know, because you're not alone when it comes to that. You know, me and some of us suffer from issues like that, and depression and anxiety and other mental issues. I come from a long line of people who have mental disorders, but, you know, it's just a matter of getting help and letting the Lord help you and stay in and having a relationship so you don't get that depressed to where you think that your life is not worth anything. Because tell you, I will be your friend in a heartbeat if anybody reaches out to me and says they want to kill themselves. I'm not going to let you guys go through that. I don't want to lose anybody that is looking to do that. So
absolutely.
But before we make this any longer, we'll see you guys on the next video, whether it be separate, together, whatever we get hit here. It's a little hit and miss. I'm going to try to go back to school. So prayers for that, because it's been forever. And it's one course for 5 weeks, and I feel like I can handle that. So I'm not overloading myself, but our company provides tuition for online courses. So I'm going to jump on it and get my degree. I'm going to get my degree in communications, so these will be a lot better. But you guys just keep us in your prayers, and we will pray for you guys. Comment if you're able to, because I don't think the comments are disabled. So if you guys need any prayer requests, just say unspoken prayer if you want to go into detail, or if you want to email our page. I'll put the email down too. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time. And don't forget to do your act of random kindness for somebody. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.